Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you.
Hawaii, Here We Come by Sari, Fordham. Congratulations! You've won a trip to Hawaii for 4, the voice on the phone said. My mouth dropped open. No way! How awesome! It was January in Texas. Our front lawn was brown, and the leafless trees by the mailbox looked like gigantic toothpicks. Instead of snow, we got wind that snapped at my exposed cheeks. I missed the sun. Just 2 years before, my family had lived as missionaries in Kenya. Banana and papaya trees flourished in our garden. The sun, as big and cheerful as a beach ball, hung in a brilliant sky. I wore shorts and flip-flops all year long. For vacations, we would travel to the Indian Ocean. In the morning, my father would make real coconut syrup, which we drizzled over our pancakes. Then my sister and I would race down the sand dunes toward the water. Sometimes we collected shells. Sometimes we plunged into the water, letting the waves crash over our heads. And sometimes we went snorkeling, my favorite activity. With my face in the water, the ocean floor looked like a miniature world. There were seaweed jungles, sandy roads, and coral kingdoms. I would follow blue and yellow angelfish and pretend we were all taking a trip to the market. Since we'd come back to the United States, we hadn't taken any family vacations. We couldn't afford to because money was tight. My father was going to school. My mother was teaching part-time and trying to find a better-paying job. On the double coupon day, our family hit the Winn-Dixie supermarket. We'd scamper down the aisles clutching coupons for tomato sauce, cooking oil, and mushroom soup. I hated coupon shopping. Life in America was not turning out the way I had expected. I thought it would be glamorous. I would finally be in a class with more than 4 students. I would finally have a chance to eat ice cream, have a best friend my age, watch TV, talk on the telephone, and roller skate. Instead, the kids on the bus called me African Girl. They set their backpacks down on the empty seat beside them. I would walk up and down the aisle trying to find a place to sit. At school, things didn't get easier. I did everything wrong. I didn't know how to pronounce the names of Texas towns. I couldn't hit a softball. I didn't wear the right brand of jeans. Everyone here wears Guess, a girl explained to me one day. I smiled shyly and said, "Thank you." But how could I tell my parents that? We didn't have enough money to turn on the heat at night. I longed to return to Africa. I wanted to sit on our front porch and watch the stars fill the sky. I wanted to play with the pets we had given away to other missionary families. I wanted to take a family vacation to the beach. I wanted to run barefoot over white sand, to feel the sun on my face, to laugh. My parents were at a prayer meeting when the phone rang. My older sister Sonia was visiting one of her friends. I ran to the kitchen and picked it up. "Hello? Is this the Fordham residence?" a woman asked. "Yes, it is," I said. I listened breathlessly as the woman told me that we had won a trip to Hawaii. "To claim your prize, you need to call this number," she explained. I grabbed a sheet of paper and wrote down the number. My heart was pounding and I couldn't stop smiling. We were going to Hawaii! I tried the number. A pre-recorded message said that I needed to write down an address and send away for my free vacation. I listened for the address. My pen was poised to write it down, but I could hear only a few words. The recording was muffled. When the recording ended, I didn't have the complete address. I punched in the number and listened again. I still couldn't hear most of it. I tried again and again. Finally, I gave up. I would just have to give my parents the number and have them listen for the address. When I heard the front door open, I raced to the entryway and told my parents the good news. "You did what?" my mother shouted. She took the sheet of paper from my hand and looked down at the number I had written. The smile fell off my face, and tears stung my eyes. "This is a 900 number. Every call is very expensive. How many times did you call?" my mother asked, her voice softening a bit. "I don't know," I said, looking down at the floor. "A lot. It was hard to hear, but they said we've won a trip to Hawaii." I looked at my father. "She knew our name and everything. We just have to get the address." My dad said, taking off his shoes. "I'll have to check it out." "I know you meant well," my mother said, "but they're scam artists. People don't give away trips to Hawaii." My parents rushed into the living room. They dropped their coats on the couch and Dad grabbed the phone. "This should be illegal," I could hear my dad saying. I put on my shoes, grabbed my coat, and ran outside. I shoved my cold fingers deep into my pockets and kicked at small stones. A lump formed at the back of my throat. I had wanted to help, and instead I had made everything worse. I wondered how much money my mistake was going to cost. Whatever it was, I knew my parents couldn't afford it. I walked around the block and then came back home. When I opened the front door, my mother was sitting in the living room. She smiled. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gotten angry," she said, motioning for me to sit down beside her. "I didn't know," I said, tears starting to slide down my cheeks again. "A trip to Hawaii would have been nice, huh?" my mother said. "But don't worry. The phone company won't charge us for those calls. Your dad talked to them." "But the lady said we won. Are you sure we didn't?" "I'm afraid so. It was a drawing, and you had to send in a postcard to register. I don't think anyone will win," my mother said. "The phone company said that a lot of people have complained. You weren't the only one who fell for that trick." We had worship late that evening. My dad talked about free gifts. He said that the only free gift we can count on is salvation. Before Jesus left for heaven, he promised, "I am going there to prepare a place for you. After I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me so that you may be where I am." John 14, verses 2 and 3. A trip to heaven? Now there's a vacation I can believe in.
The story you have heard today is from Guide's Greatest Stories, written by various authors and compiled by Randy Fischel, and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.